my first year when I was here.
We are live. All right, welcome back, everyone. It is after lunch, 1 p.m. And we are taking up continued conversation on the act relating to the approval of the amendments to the charter of the town of Essex. And we had like one or two questions for council for clarification. And I know that Representative Tisnall was workshopping some language on the posting of the minutes. So let's get to it. Representatives of Essex, good to see you again. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yes. And let's see. I'll pull this up. What is I'm just refreshing my document page. I guess shall we start with council?
Good afternoon, Tucker Anderson, Legislative Council at your disposal.
Yes. The language in our minutes. That's the wrong one. Election.
That was on page 6
Sure.
of the as introduced version in section 206 of the charter related to record of proceedings, specifically in subsection B. Starts right at the top, page 6.
Yeah, it's all things like that. Okay, so we made meeting singular. And we took the board's next meeting and adjusted that to select board as soon as is reasonably possible. Struck board, just thought on. I mean, it reads clean to me on its surface. I guess I'll ask the representatives from Essex their thoughts on the language proposal.
I'm sorry, I missed what was said and I haven't seen it in writing yet. I heard as soon as reasonably possible.
Yes, and on our committee page, we have the new draft language. It's at the top of page 6.
Okay. If you could give me a moment to get there, please.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Just to clarify, to my knowledge, there's no new language. It's just
Oh, Jesus, I'm looking.
introduced language.
Sorry, I completely ran over that.
Page 516, and if it would be helpful to bring the committee back to your last discussion, you had questions about whether this would override the general requirements of the open meeting law. The open meeting law does not require approval of minutes, and the deadline for the posting of minutes and for the availability of those minutes under different structure, but the Public Records Act is within 5 business days. It's very express. And for those following along at home, that would be in 1 VSA 312 B1 and specifically posting B2. My testimony last time was that if it is the town's intent to someone on the Zoom has to mute themselves. Thank you.
Sorry.
If it's the town's intent to go beyond the 5 business day deadline of the open meeting law, this language should be more express in the charter. Remember that the Dillon's rule, rules of construction for courts here is that any authority that a municipal corporation wishes to exercise, the courts will construe a legislative grant of that authority against the municipal corporation. So if there's any ambiguity or doubt as to what the General Assembly was authorizing under the provisions of a charter, that interpretation is going to go against the municipal corporation and in favor of retained authority by the General Assembly. Because of that judicial gloss, recommendation is that if the committee wants to allow the town of Essex to use potentially more than 5 business days to post this information or to make it available upon request, then the language in this subsection B should be made more express. For example, notwithstanding 1 VSA 312 B2, or adding a clause that expressly allows the town to go beyond 5 business days for the posting of minutes.
No, and apologies, I had other amended language on a different charter stuck in my head, so apologies for that. Yes.
Excuse me.
And so I always caution myself about asking you what language would sound like on the fly. But for the sake of that, what would language sound like on the fly?
Following the language that states that the minutes of each meeting shall be approved by the select board as soon as is reasonably possible, add another clause and may be posted later than the 5 business days required by 1 VSA 312B2 or similar language, acknowledging that I am drafting on the fly, not on paper, but out of my mouth.
And I respect your ability to do so in at least a frame so we have an understanding. Rep. Isnall.
A little hesitant to changing it just for the town of Essex. Thinking that more towns would come forth saying that they want to do their charter changes to allow them as well. But the minutes, you have 5 days to post the minutes, but they can be in draft form. So is that unreasonable? If you had a Saturday meeting, you'd have until Thursday to post some sort of draft minutes?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a question.
Yes.
Yeah, if I may, the town is not looking to extend the 5-day requirement for post-draft minutes. We've been in compliance with that. The intention is to remain in compliance with that. I think if it's a matter of clarity to say notwithstanding 1 VSA 312 section E1, I don't think that would change the intent. What the town's intent to this is really, we approve the minutes. The town of Essex charter requires the select board to approve the minutes, in addition to the posting the draft. The way it's written right now is that the minute will be approved by the board at its next meeting. That is not always possible. So we're looking to have the approval of the minutes happen as soon as is reasonably possible. We have been, still would be in compliance with open meeting law and posting the draft within 5 days. This is not intended to change that at all.
So,
Please.
so my thought, the last time we heard this, of saying that it would be posted, it would be able to be posted the next meeting because meeting might come right then, and then that 5-day period.
No, and I apologize. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I apologize if that was not made clear at the last one. It's just the approval of the minutes. If we have a Saturday meeting, we would still have the draft posted within 5 days, regardless of another meeting in between. It's just the approval of those minutes that's the hang up for the town of Essex.
Okay, so we're comfortable with.
Yep.
Okay. And then apologies, I'm gonna dig back into my notes, but I feel like in this conversation, there was 2 pieces where there was if the language was similar in another municipality, or there was look back at something. I'm just trying to go back into my notes right now.
Yes, there was the question about whether any other municipal corporations have the authority in their charter to deem an office vacant if the officer has not attended 50% of the meetings.
That was
Right.
it.
And the answer is yes, there are other municipal corporations that have this in their charters. An example that I would share with you is in Title 24 Appendix, Chapter 126, Section 25. That's the Town of Linden Charter and the section of their charter governing vacancies in town offices. When an elected officer moves the officer's residence outside of the town, dies, becomes incapacitated, that office shall become vacant. And in addition, if a member of the select board fails to attend at least 50% of the select board's meetings in any calendar quarter, the member's office may be declared vacant by the vote of the majority of the select board held at a warned meeting. So not only is there this threshold requirement for attendance of meetings, but in Linden, it is in a quarter, not just annually.
Mhm.
Is that a hand wrap, Morgan?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Does that include or exclude if somebody zooms into the meeting? Let's say they're on a business trip. And are you all looking to consider that an absence or is that considered attending? Yes,
I think that's a question for Essex. Yeah, on the
Oh,
intent.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that somebody would be present. Again, in compliance with open meeting law, we allow for hybrid meetings. Members do occasionally attend, hybrid, whether they're on vacation or away on a business trip or sick, but able to attend, at home. And, they're considered present and active at the meeting.
but yeah, I think that's a reasonable compromise.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Is that the only other one that we had for a follow-up? On a clarification if it's done somewhere else?
There was one other request that had come in and it was raised by some folks from the town. I believe Andy Watts was given the credit for identifying this. But there was an inconsistency in the appointment powers in the charter, specifically that there was an officer that could simultaneously be appointed by the select board or by the town manager. So there was the request to amend the bill as introduced to strike that appointment authority from the section related to the town manager.
Mhm.
All right. So leaving the authority under this.
So that would be page 9, section 402, and it's the cemetery commissioners. If you're looking at line 10, existing language in the charter in section 402 grants appointment authority to the town manager with approval of the select board. So striking that is the proposal. Page 9, line 10. Last clause on that line.
Attorney at the Terry Commissioner. So that's just after the if needed.
Adding the fire chief.
Right, the request, as I understand it, is to strike cemetery commissioners at the end of line 10,
Oh,
Just that.
just that.
Okay. Yes, Rob Coffin.
Want to make sure, because I'm reading it, that I'm reading right, because that confused me on the last time when we looked through this. So striking it up there for cemetery commissioners off of line 10. And then as we go back down to line 14, if the select board fails to appoint within 45 days after the position becomes available, and the town manager could then appoint,
Right.
even though we've struck it up top.
That's correct, but there's the contingency there is that within 45 days of the vacancy, the select board has taken no action.
Mhm.
So it's separate from the default and general authority to appoint the members of the commission. And if you go back to page 7 on line 3 within section 208 of the charter, the cemetery commission has been moved under the appointment authority of the select board.
Okay,
Oh, so that intersects with that. Okay, yeah, yes.
that's, just want to make sure, huh?
And I can prepare, if that is something the committee wants, I can prepare that amendment this afternoon for you.
Does that sound amenable to the representatives from Essex?
Yes, that sounds great. We apologize for the oversight and yeah, just confirming that line 10 of page 9 cemetery commissioners can be struck and that has been added to the select board's appointment authority.
And then we had the clarification on those other pieces that do occur elsewhere in this way. So, as we stated, teeing up this week, this is one of the things we flagged to try and wrap up this week. So is everyone comfortable with these changes? So we can get that drafted and then get this listed for a vote. All right. Excellent. All right, and that sounds like a good timeline for you folks from Essex?
That sounds great. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. I guess we'll move on to the next order of business then. I'm barring further questions on this. Yes, all right, cool. Thank you very much, folks. We're gonna move on to a Burlington conversation now.
Thank you. Thank you for the consideration.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right, the one I actually had in my language. We are moving over to 508. An act approving, act related, relating, hello. To approval of amendments to the charter of the city of Burlington. And this is the ward boundary conversations. So we have new draft for that available on the page. And council, new draft.
All right, you should have in front of you draft 1.1 of a committee strike all amendment for H 508. Approval of amendments to the charter of the city of Burlington. The amendment is fairly simple to explain. Still contains the same language in section 1, approving the charter amendments. In section 2 now only contains those provisions of the bill as introduced related to the reapportionment of voting wards. So that's striking the existing ward boundary language within the charter and replacing it with the discretionary authority that the committee covered last time you visited this bill, keeping election area boundaries in place until changed by the city council, which is authorized to make changes from time to time to the boundaries of the election areas. The election area changes shall not be made more frequently than once in 5 years and shall be approved by the voters in an annual or special meeting of the city and become effective immediately unless a later date is established by the city meeting vote. And that is all within the strike all. The provisions that were removed were the residential tenancy notice provisions that were contained within the original bill as introduced.
Yeah, and those landlord tenant conversations are occurring in the respective chambers and committees of jurisdiction for housing. So that is underway as a statewide policy debate. Does anybody have questions on this boundary language? I mean, we did, we did learn through this that it seems this is kind of a relic within the process that other municipalities have this authority. So this is not something new. Seems like this is actually a little bit of the outlier. All right.
I concur.
All right, cool. Yes, council.
One thing that I would note, because I promised partners in state government that I would mention this from time to time when the charters are coming up. Vermont Center for Geographic Information likes it when there are definite boundaries for the things that they have to map. I'm not sure that it would come into play here for the voting ward boundaries within the city, but it is worth noting that you are eliminating known boundaries that they may have to map in the future. So just putting it out there, it doesn't stop the city from coordinating with BCGI in the future to upload new maps, but wanted to make sure that I noted that.
Okay. No, thank you for that. That's a great point. Does that change anybody's comfort with possible vote? Let's hops on the train.
I'm lukewarm about that. Be kind of
I'm
nice
asking.
to hear from them about boundary changes.
That entity, you mean? Yeah,
Yeah, that entity, but
up to you.
I'm trying to think how it intersects with what Berlin wants to do. Does it really matter? Because Burlington is to remain the boundaries of Burlington. It's
Right.
just how it's divided up.
I think that's kind of what you were saying, Tucker.
The interior of those
That's what-
boundaries. I think I'm comfortable with it as long as the outer boundaries stay in place.
Press down.
I was just gonna say, it may be interesting to like bring them in just as a freestanding conversation, but as far as its relevance to this bill, because what you said, I don't feel like it's gonna impact my opinion on this, but it would be cool just to have them in.
Mhm.
The flag is for maybe a scenario where it does have districts, right?
Yeah, because we're talking about like internal boundaries to the municipality, right?
Right.
Like where I have 3 of my towns are currently Hatfield and McCoy over their boundaries within their charter structures. Representative Hooper of Burlington.
I would just advocate to, I mean, it makes the charter simpler with the construction that's going on in town. Boundaries will need to change for the ward system, so it, keeps it from having to come back to us. Makes more sense representation wise.
So are we still comfortable moving forward with the vote? Okay. Before we get to actually calling the roll, I don't think we've signed a reporter of the bill on this yet. She was Essex.
Essex,
Oh, that's right, this is Burlington.
I'm looking at the 2 members from Burlington.
not it.
Representative Hooper of Burlington.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's an aye to the reporter of the bill.
Is that why you say aye?
Or was he voting on the bill? He did both.
Yeah, you just volunteered to report the bill, Bob.
I'm aware of that.
Oh, good. I just wanted to make sure that was clear and on the record.
Impressive.
Clear and on the record. All right. Haven't done this in a while.
Mhm.
Barring further discussion, I'll move that we find H 508
Admirable.
draft number 1.1. Act relating to the approval of amendments to the charter of the city of Burlington. Favorable? With amendment. Thank you for that. The caveat with amendment. With amendment. Clerk will call the roll.
I believe we need to a
Give me a
second.
second. Thank you. I jumped.
I'll second it.
All right, we got a second over there. See, Rusty.
Representative Boyden, yes. Representative Pincinel,
Yes,
Representative Morgan,
Yes.
Representative Hooper Burlington,
Yes.
Representative Coffin,
Yes.
Representative Stone,
Yes.
Representative Hooper Randolph, Representative Nugent,
yes.
Representative Waters Evans,
Yes.
Representative Byram,
Yes.
Representative Hanga. 10-0-1.
We finally have something to send to the clerk's office.
Hmm.
All right. Gotcha. Process, yes, we'll process the present. We are very much ahead of schedule right now. We want to just start Bennington stuff and we'll just have Will come in later. We want to take a break.
I have to part this for some reason. My feelings.
We'll take a break for a few minutes. We'll get this vote up to the clerk's office, so you can take us off for a few. It was risk charter